Okay, just about to go watch Guardians of the Galaxy 2, starring Dave Bautista, Chris Pratt, Zoe Saldana, and Bradley Cooper, of course, with Vin Diesel as Groot. I'll see you all in about 2 hours. Should be a good one. Well, folks, thanks for joining me in the now spoiler review, and as usual, I'm going to give you 5 seconds to leave if you thought this was the spoiler-free review. Alright, because I don't want people to wander into a spoiler review if they're thinking it's the spoiler-free one, because some people don't want it spoiled. Right, we'll start with writing. I'm not a huge expert, in fact I'm not even a mildly good expert with regards to Guardians of the Galaxy, since this is the first time I've seen a film of theirs on the big screen. I saw their first one on Netflix around a friend of mine's. How you doing, Pete? Writing is pretty sharp, but I will say that the whole heel turn with Kurt Russell as Ego, which I thought was an intriguing name for a being that is a planet but actually has himself in a human physical form. I don't know whether it's this sort of set pattern that I've started noticing with a lot of modern movies, not just comic book movies, but when you have this mysterious stranger that comes in claiming to be someone's said lost parent, you know, blood relative, friend, or lost loved one, and you give them all these amazing answers, is a little too good to be true, and in most cases it often is. I mean, it's almost like a set pretext for life as well. You know, there are so many things that we want it to be the way it is, but when it comes all of a sudden out of the blue, it's like, that's a tad too convenient. I mean, to give Kurt Russell his due, I thought he played it great. You know, he was pretty much a very fun, likable, celestial being, as the script had him written as. Again, I do not know the backstory of this character, so it's not really my place to critique in that manner. But, you know, Kurt made the character very likable, even though the character's intentions were a little bit questionable, especially when he said the 4th time he had to put a tumour in his mother's brain, which, with Peter, it has to be said, if you find out someone killed your own mom, chances are you'd have an axe to grind as well, and pretty much rejects the idea of being immortal. It's like, look, if immortal means being like you, I'll take being mortal with my friends over there that are more family to me. Zoe Saldana, I think she turned in a solid performance as, I keep forgetting her name with regards to this, Gamora. She's very stoic, keeping her emotions at bay, but I did notice this in little bits with the first Guardians. There is a twinkle in her eye for Peter and vice versa, and in this one they kind of dispense with the nonsense and just put their cards on the table and just get it all out in the open. So I'm kind of glad with that one. Bautista as Drax the Destroyer. As I mentioned in the spoiler-free review, I find Bautista's laughing as Drax, it comes across as a little bit forced and contrived. It didn't really have a natural delivery that I would have appreciated personally. But the other times where he's speaking very philosophically, speaking very soft-spoken as well, he is, I mean, here's the thing, and you know, I'm a fan of Bautista when he was a face in WWE. Now, quick little wrestling terminology here for those that are not wrestling fans. A face, or short for baby face, is code for good guy in the WWE or in any wrestling territory. When we say they've made a heel turn, we don't mean that they've, you know, put their heel on and actually spun around. Heel turn, it just means someone has gone from good guy to bad guy, the villain, the heel. So that's why we say heel turn. As a heel, he's terrible in WWE. I'm just calling it for what it is. He just comes across as whiny. But here, he's actually given competent material to work with that is 20 times better than his last WWE run. But 2014 is a year we like to forget in general. The prosthetic makeup that they have for him is decent and genuine. Looks really so much the part for him. But then again, it's legacy effects, which in turn was the Stan Winston studio. So, you know you're always going to get quality from that. We miss you, Stan. We miss you. Bradley Cooper as Rocket Raccoon. He's a lovable a-hole. Bradley really gives this character the right level of likable, snarky wit that you need to, make this raccoon character who's, quite visually appealing, but to make him a little bit douchey. He's always doing these little things that compromises situations, as we see when their ship crashes on a planet because they keep switching who's in control of pilot mode, and him and Star-Lord are constantly taking jabs at each other. It's it's almost like bickering brothers. Like you always get that one brother or that one friend who you love dearly and whatnot, but you're always like at each other. Groot is actually kind of interesting to see him in baby form, and with Vin Diesel providing that voice, but obviously it's squeaked up to infancy mode. And just seeing him interact in the opening credits where the music's playing in the background and he's trying to help, but he's just getting in the way all the time. And the whole thing with the Sovereign, it had to be Rocket to get them annoyed by stealing their batteries. It's just like, dude, what did you do that for? Visual effects are just amazing, but then again, it's wetted digital. What did you expect? The same people that did the wonders of wonders, that is Avatar, did the visual effects for Iron Man 3, because as most people know, it was Industrial Light and Magic that did the visual effects for Iron Man's 1, 2, and the first Avengers. I'm not 100% sure who did the visual effects for Avengers 2, but it probably was them. And considering they did the very short notice thing where they were quietly hired to superimpose Paul Walker's face over one of his brothers just to be able to complete Fast 7. And it has to be said, and I think I've said this once or twice before in videos and in comment sections on YouTube and various social media outlets, but even though you can tell it's not 100% organic, it's a good superimposed creation. I think once visual effects just get that little bit further along, I think it will get to a point where you won't even be able to tell the difference. Because visual effects have been pretty much been able to master things for example, the first two Jurassic Park movies, because when you see the dinosaurs in motion, combined with the animatronic dinosaurs, there's very little difference between the two. Cars, they're pretty much there. I mean, particularly with the visual effects on Thunderbirds Are Go. I know this is not in the same context, and it's not used by the same company, but there are times where you think, okay, that looks real. But it's just people. I don't know what it is, but they haven't quite nailed it with that. But, yeah. Again, the writing, aside from the so obvious heel turn from Ego, I think, you know, they had the right tension with the characters. You know, like a family. You know, there are times where the family bickers, but then there's resolutions between between family members and what have you, and everyone just kind of gels together when they kind of realize, like, you know, you don't need to be like that. And I like how Peter envisioned David Hasselhoff as his father, with references to Knight Rider, including actually getting David Hasselhoff to be in Kurt Russell's place in Michael Knight mode, I might add, with the red turtleneck. I think it was the red. Was it the red turtleneck or just like a red shirt with the black leather jacket, the jeans, and the cowboy boots, and the 80s perm? I'm like, yes, that's what we want to see. And it has to be said, that Michael Knight, who wouldn't want him as a dad? Seriously, he's Michael Knight. You know, the guy could be a little bit brash and a little bit reckless on occasion. I mean, just see season 1 for most things. But the character was a good role model. You know, David actually believed in that character. So, David, if you're out there and you happen to be seeing this video, first of all, thank you so much. That's made my birthday and my Christmas all in one, and even my WrestleMania. But, you know, to see you in that movie, as somebody who's a fan of you, not just for Knight Rider, but of your music, to see you in there, that's awesome. Or even Hoffsome. But, you know, that was awesome to see him in there. Would have been great if we could also see Kit as well, but that's a story for another time. Like I say, aside from that minor detail with the writing, I thought the actors turned in fine performances. Visuals, again, you know, it's Weta Digital. You're getting your money's worth and then some. The score is amazing. The soundtrack, I absolutely love it. It's 70s, 80s, old school, but the soundtrack that they offered in there, even with Hasselhoff adding, you know, an original piece to that score, that was just awesome. And there's 5 post-credit scenes. Here's another thing. How the heck did they get Sylvester Stallone for this? I mean, I was like, whoa, okay, you got Rocky for this. I don't know how integral he's going to be with regards to the Infinity Wars, but it is rumoured that he is going to be in Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3, so that should be well fun to look at. But, you know, aside from a couple of minor nitpicks, I have got no complaints with this movie whatsoever. I mean, like I say, I was never a Guardians fan going into this. I mean, I didn't even know who they were until Avengers: Earth's Mightiest Heroes back in 2010. So, you know, this is just, you know, a nice introduction to the characters. If you haven't seen the first movie, you know, I don't think it's going to matter too much per se, because although this is picking up from where the first movie left off, watching this movie will encourage you to watch the first movie, and you're just going to enjoy it even more. So, again, I'm just going to give Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2 a dang, that was good. I got my money's worth from this, and then some. I thought it was a great movie experience, and, you know, even if you're not a comic book fan, or even a comic book movie fan, if you're just a casual film goer, and don't know the set premise of these characters with the little intricacies and what have you, you come into this, you know, with a complete blank slate. You'll come out thinking, damn, that was a good movie. So, yeah, I got nothing else to say with regards to that. Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2 is out now in cinematic release everywhere. Go watch it. You will enjoy it. Until then, this is MJ Knight signing off from Real Features.